6 different positional groups: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, O-line, linebackers, and quarterbacks. Got the 3rd best Super Bowl odds behind the Ravens and the Bills. Brew, are you guaranteeing a successful Eagles season?
No, because what is success?
It's a great question.
To me, success is a Super Bowl.
For them or for anybody?
For them.
Yeah.
When they have to, success is winning the Super Bowl. When you are the defending champions, when you have those rankings that you just showed, you have basically your whole team back, and essentially everybody is in their prime.
Well, whole offense back. The defense, they lost
a few,
yeah.
right. But a few of the guys you expect to actually improve in the defensive backfield. So I'll define it this way, because you may say, oh, good season, 12 wins, the NFC Championship game.
Make fun of him.
I mean, what is going to make you happy at the end of the year? That's success.
That's good.
And if they get to the Super Bowl and lose, they are not going to be happy. That's it. So for them, success is a Super Bowl. I think they have a good chance to do it. I certainly will not guarantee it. We've only had 2 repeat champions this century. So, no, I'm not guaranteeing a successful season.
Go ahead, KW.
They'll be really good in the
Oddly,
playoffs
I think,
and all that.
getting to the NFC Championship game would be...
How?
Because it would, here's the argument for it. Let's say, let me paint this scenario.
Sure.
They turn the offense over to Jalen, and he cooks. He throws for 36 touchdowns. They are the 1 seed, unlike last year. They get back to the Super Bowl, and they lose a duel to Josh Allen. Move the Chiefs out of it. You know what I mean? Because that's like a new rivalry thing. Yes, of course, in the days and even weeks after the game, they're devastated. We had a chance to go back-to-back. But do they consider it success that they are now an undoubtable, is that a word? Proven commodity of, we are the class of our conference.
Yeah,
We've been to 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls. Our quarterback is that guy. Like, to me, yes, they would be sad.
I agree. Look, when we talk success, I think a player on the worst team in the league, after a few weeks after the season, when he's chilling on a beach with all his millions of dollars, he's like, I get that. I'm talking about on the football field. And the goal is not to be the class of the NFC.
Sure.
The goal is to win as many Super Bowls as you can, and after you've done it, I just don't think losing it is going to satisfy.
That makes total sense. But, like, if they lost to the Lions in the NFC Championship game, I don't think it, again, no. I don't think they would bring out the Mummer Parade out there, obviously. But, like, we are just consistently in the mix. Like, as a Patriots fan, like, we're always in the mix. Not like the Steelers are in the mix.
For young people watching, the Patriots used to be good. Like, they had a long stretch of really...
Yeah, Patriots are a long stretch. You'd be shocked how many Kansas City Chiefs fans don't even know that the New England Patriots went to 3 Super Bowls in a row. Listen. I understand the conversation that they're having here. I really do. And I think it's actually a slightly more complex answer. First off, the thing that Nick mapped out is just silly and just 100% wrong. They'll show that they're the class of the NFC, and they'll prove that they're actually they're already proved that. Like, what are you talking about, man? The Philadelphia Eagles don't need to prove anything to anyone, and Jalen Hurts doesn't need to cook in a way that makes you happy. Well, he threw 35 touchdown passes. He's had 2 dominant Super Bowl performances, has led 2 teams to the Super Bowl, is a Super Bowl MVP. Like, what bizarre situation are we inventing right now? It doesn't make any sense. The Eagles are already proven to be a top team in the NFL over the last, decade plus. I already told you guys this before. They have the second most playoff wins, second to only the New England Patriots, of the last 25 years. But even if we just want to use essentially the last 10 years or so, the Eagles have been to 3 Super Bowls and have won 2. Or excuse me, they've been to 3 Super Bowls and won 2. So I mean, like, let's just chill out here. Like, it's just kind of absurd. And in 22, right, they obviously went to the Super Bowl, were great. In 23, it was a down year, but they still made the playoffs. And then the following year, they were a special team, set records, and won the Super Bowl. What are you saying they need to do next? Everybody was crowned the Baltimore Ravens as this undeniable contender. They haven't been to a single Super Bowl. Everyone crowned the Bills as an undeniable contender. Haven't been to a Super Bowl. Everyone crowned the 49ers as an undeniable contender. They've been to 2 Super Bowls and lost both of them. Okay? So the Rams, undeniable contender, won a Super Bowl, haven't been back since. I don't think they've even been back to an NFC Championship game since then. The Detroit Lions, this is their era now. They're an undeniable contender, haven't been to a Super Bowl. So I'm like, then who is it then? If it's not the Philadelphia Eagles, then who is it? Like, what are we saying here, man? Clearly, the 2 most successful teams over the last 10 years or so, roughly, have been the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Since the Kansas City Chiefs have started their reign in from 2017 onward, the Eagles have been top team in the NFL. So, like, what are we inventing? That, like, oh, if the Eagles get back to a Super Bowl, then people will start to say, okay, now they're that team. It's like, what? What are you even saying right now? Like, that's what just makes my head explode. Because it's just like, what are you saying? What are the words coming out of your mouth right now, man? It just doesn't make sense to me. And I do agree with what Brew's saying, in the sense where the Eagles have incredibly high standards. I've said this before they even ended up winning the Super Bowl. I said this like a couple years ago, back in like 23, back when this channel had like 10 videos on it. It's like the Eagles have incredibly high standards, and for them it's really like minimum thresholds, like NFC champion, anything short. Because what I was pretty much saying is like, if Nick Sirianni does not get back to at least an NFC championship game, like, there is trouble. And even for Jalen Hurts, for that matter, it's like, you got to compete. You got to compete. And then I said, based off of how 23 ended, I was like, an NFC championship game is not even good enough. Like, there's true Super Bowl aspirations, because you had been to the Super Bowl in 22 and came up short. And now that they won the Super Bowl, now that they were so dominant throughout their run last year, that is what the expectations are. Like, that is the standard. The standard is the standard. It is to win Super Bowls. And so the way how I look at it, and this is what I had been saying, and Howie Roseman really kind of seconded this, as well as Nick Sirianni, like, it's not so much about going back to back. It's, you have this core of people. You have some of these other lingering guys who will be, eventually retiring, like the Lane Johnsons. And, you have Jalen Hurts in his prime, and A.J. Brown, Devontae, Saquon. Like, the goal is to win. I always try to think of, like, what's the realistic goal? What's actually realistic? 2 more Super Bowls. You would say that if the Eagles could win 2 more Super Bowls from this point on, with Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae, Jalen Hurts. Like, I'm just even going to look at it, like, right there. And maybe we'll add in like a Jordan Mailata or so, and keep a Fangio, because Fangio reportedly isn't going to be coaching for the next like 10, 15 years, and will probably retire sooner rather than later. Like, when you have that kind of like immediate, like, okay, this nucleus here, it's like, what do we got here? Realistically, I think the expectation would be now kind of to Nick's point, where if it's all said and done, and they only ended up winning 2 Super Bowls. I say only, like, that's nothing. Like, 2 Super Bowls after the acquisition of like a Saquon Barkley and trading for A.J. Brown and drafting Devontae. When you look at it from like a big picture, you're like, all right, if you're an Eagles fan, you're like, yeah, we could have won more. We could have won 3. And if it wasn't for that 1 year, we could have won 4. But like 2 is pretty good. Like that, like, you would still be happy with that, right? I mean, the Packers nucleus won 1. The Rams won 1. The Ravens are yet to do it. The Bills are yet to do it. The 49ers are yet to do it. So like, winning 2 like that would still be a success. But I guess, like, if I'm trying to think of like a realistic goal, if you're at, because it's like when you look at someone like a Howie Roseman and a Jeffrey Lurie, if they're looking at this from like a more business perspective and what they're trying to create here, it's like, The way I kind of look at it is like, you know, it's like, this is the team that we built. We have to be realistic. Like, what are we shooting for? What is our objective? Obviously, to win Super Bowls. We won the one. How many is realistic to win with this core of guys? We're shooting for 3. Anything more than 3 is like, you know, like, I mean, like you're then talking about building one of the greatest teams and greatest franchises like in the history of the NFL. So it's like, what can we get here? It's like we're shooting for 3. If we get 2, that's great. If we only end up getting 1, it's gonna feel like we did not actually achieve what we set out to achieve. If you look at this team, if you're looking at the AJ, the Saquon, et cetera, and when it's all said and done, you only came away with 1, it's like there better been some key injuries that happened, right? Saquon goes down, AJ goes down, Jalen goes down, right? Like there better be some like true explanations as to why this went, you know, it didn't go exactly according to plan. But I don't think it has to be back to back. I never believed in that notion. I think when you acquire, again, because I'm looking at it also just from last year, like when you get Fangio, you get Saquon Barkley. I'm just looking at it even in that like very minuscule thing. It's just like, all right, over these next 2 years, let's win a Super Bowl, right? Like that's what we're looking for. I can't put the standard of like, we got Saquon, we made a couple moves, we better win a Super Bowl right this second. It's like, no, like we're doing this. We won that Super Bowl though, so you do get to check that off. It can't now just be like, okay, well, we better win a Super Bowl again, and then we better win a Super Bowl again. Like it's just unrealistic expectations. So it becomes a trickier conversation than I think people give it credit for. But if they reach an NFC Championship game and they lose to the Detroit Lions, like no, the Eagles are not going to be okay with that by any stretch of the imagination. If they reach the Super Bowl and they lose to the Buffalo Bills, like, again, there always will be some sense of accomplishment. Like, even when they lost in 22, there's still a sense of an accomplishment. And now after you won in 24, losing the following year, it helps, you know, smooth the landing a little bit. But at the same time, you're looking at that core, you're looking at that team, people are going to think that they came up short. Especially the Philadelphia Eagles themselves, as well as that fan base themselves. So, you know, the whole idea of guaranteeing a successful Eagles season, there's absolutely positively no guarantees in any professional sports, but especially football. So, I think as long as they stay healthy, as long as the offensive coordinating promotion, we'll call it, rather than hire, as long as that is the right move, then yes, they should have a very successful season. Anything short of an NFC Championship game, and I will consider it an absolute failure. And considering what these other teams look like in the AFC, if they reach the Super Bowl, it's like I try to think of a situation that would be okay for them to lose. And it's like, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, if you lose to Patrick Mahomes, if you lose to Josh Allen, if you lose to Lamar Jackson or Joe Burrow, you're talking about losing, you know, getting beat by all-time special quarterbacks. So you can't be too upset about that. But the Eagles believe that they're building an all-time special team, and they have an all-time special quarterback. So it's like you're not just happy to be there. You're not just like, well, we lost to a special player. It's like, but we have special players too, right? There was no sense of like, oh, in 22 we made the Super Bowl, but we just lost to Patrick Mahomes. What are you gonna do? We lost to Michael Jordan. Like, not a single Philadelphia Eagle fan or commentator was like that. They were like, what are you gonna do, man? We lost to the best. Like, nobody felt that way. So they're certainly not going to feel that way about Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, or Patrick Mahomes again. So we shall see. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Philadelphia Eagles? Are you guaranteeing a successful Eagles season? And what is a successful season to you? Definitely curious to hear your thoughts on that one. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.